on tonight's programme. The violent French drug dealer who repeatedly breaks back into Britain is deported for a third time.
Durham bucks the trend of 5% council tax rises. But what's the picture where you live?
Why last night's allegations of racist abuse in the Champions League show that after 30 years, there's still work to do in football.
And a year on since this arena hosted the Mobo Awards, another big bash has been confirmed for later this year.
A French drug dealer with a history of violent offending is back in jail again this evening after being deported from the northeast twice and returning here twice illegally.
Edwin Tahar was initially jailed in 2020 for his part in a violent gang attack on Teesside, which left a man drowned after he fled from them.
The 25-year-old is now facing deportation for a third time after returning to the UK just weeks after being sent back to France last year. Our correspondent Greg Easthill has been following the case.
This is Edwin Tahar, a French drug dealer with a history of dangerous offending over here, who seemingly refused to accept he just wasn't welcome in Britain anymore. His name first made headlines in 2020 after a court was told he was the ringleader in a gang attack in Yarm on Luke Jobson. Described as acting like a pack of wolves, CCTV captured Tahar and his co-accused chasing after the 22-year-old after an argument broke out. The known drug dealer assaulting his young victim with pepper spray before Luke was later found drowned, having gone missing that night. Tahar and the others involved weren't accused of being responsible for the death, but he was found guilty of a fray and jailed for this and other separate drug offences. After serving time in the UK, Tahar was then deported in 2023, but the following year was back in Britain and facing the courts again after being caught near Hartlepool with weapons, cash and cocaine. Jailed this time for more than 5 years, he was deported last year under an early release scheme. This morning, though, he was back at Newcastle Crown Court, this time accused of breaching his deportation order for a second time after being picked up in January on UK soil. The court was told that Tahar felt he had no choice but to come back to Britain for a third time, illegally, because his grandmother was ill and he needed to organise passport papers for his son. But a judge at his hearing dismissed that, saying he knew very well he was banned from this country and jailed him for a further 28 months. The case this afternoon drawing this response from Matt Vickers, MP for Stockton West and the Shadow Minister for Policing and Crime.
I think it's absolutely devastating. Your thoughts go out to all the people affected, family and friends, for what went on. The fact that they think the justice system was going to do justice, that this person was going to spend time behind bars, is going to be removed from this country, and he's been allowed to go out onto the streets of Britain again, is pathetic. It's appalling, and something needs to be done about it.
Locked up again in a UK prison tonight, it's understood Tahar is now due to be deported for a third time, but his court hearing was told it's not known when that'll happen.
And Greg joins us from the newsroom now with an update, because Greg, you've had more reaction to this.
That's right, Ian. We've made contact this afternoon with the family of Luke Jobson. They didn't want to be interviewed on camera, but did tell us that they have a one-word reaction to what's happened, and that word is frustration. We've also asked the Home Office for a comment. They've been in touch just within the last few minutes. I'll read you part of that statement. It says, "We will not allow foreign criminals and illegal immigrants to exploit our laws. We are reforming human rights laws and replacing, it says, the broken appeal system so we can scale up deportations." As for Edwin Tahar, he made no comments, no reaction in court when he was sentenced. It is a process, you'd imagine, that he's becoming familiar with.
Thank you, Greg.
Next, it's that time of year again already. Letters and emails will be arriving with your new council tax bill from April.
For most areas of the North East, it'll be going up by nearly 5% again. That's despite the government saying they were making funding fairer for regions like ours.
Well, our political correspondent Tom Sheldrick is here now with us. Tom, just take us through what's happening.
Yes, Amy, the government have changed how they work out what funding they give to councils. Ministers say it now recognises local need, with more going to deprived areas. But money is still tight. The government expects local leaders to keep putting up council tax, and that's what's happening here. All of these councils are increasing it by just under 5%. That's the maximum allowed without government approval. Several others aren't far behind. These figures include core council tax and social care contributions. Smaller increases are coming in Middlesbrough and in County Durham, where the council is now run by Reform UK. Their figure was agreed today. It's lower than what they were planning after the government topped up funding last week. So who gets the credit? Filling in more potholes is one of Reform UK's priorities. They say they'll invest £47 million to maintain County Durham's roads. It's one of the ways your council tax will get spent after the local budget was agreed earlier. You may only be increasing council tax by 2% in County Durham, but didn't you pledge to cut taxes?
Well, look, we've certainly lowered what is the assumed position, which is a max tax of 5%. We've bucked the trend, and that's because of the 15 million that we found in savings.
They're no way near the savings, the scale of inefficiencies that you predicted before you came into office. You haven't found those, have you?
Well, look, there's still more work to do. We are not yet a year in to being elected.
So the total council tax bill for a Band D household in County Durham will be just under £2,500 next year. At this fruit and veg shop in Crook, we asked for customers' views on their council tax sums.
2% is fair, I think, because of the costs go up all the time.
I still don't agree with the rise. I think we pay plenty
go
council
down.
tax. Yeah.
Instead of up, everything every year goes up regardless. So as much as everybody does probably twist about it, whinge about it, but it's going to happen.
Are you giving the credit to the government or are you giving the credit to the council?
Well, who do you believe? You know what I mean?
This County Durham Labour MP has a clear answer. Would you like to congratulate Reform UK and County Durham for keeping council tax low?
The reason why they've been able to keep council tax low is the fair funding settlement that the Labour government has introduced, where for 2 years in a row we've pumped tens of millions more into authorities in the most deprived bits of the country.
The council tax rise only being 2% is due to the government providing you with more money, isn't it, straightforwardly?
We have had about £50 million over a 3-year period, right? Of course, I'm grateful for any funding, but this money is not the panacea to the problems that the county faces.
So he warns there will be tough decisions ahead. Durham's County Hall building may be coming down next year, but here and elsewhere in the region, there's little prospect of council tax bills coming down anytime soon.
So, Tom, Durham County Council's budget was agreed earlier, but there are some others that are still yet to be confirmed.
Yes, a couple of other councils have their meetings this evening, others over the next few weeks, where I'd expect them to rubber stamp the council tax rises I mentioned before. That's then added, of course, to the funding they get from the government. According to my maths, it's a 6% increase to that funding for our region overall next year. Some, though, are warning that's not enough. In Hartlepool, the Labour group in charge pledged to freeze council tax, but officers there are saying that's not affordable and are urging them to increase it by nearly 5%. Some Labour councillors are now threatening to resign. It could all come to a head at the budget meeting tomorrow night.
OK, Tom, for now, thank you very much indeed. And you can find out the average council tax bill in your area where you live next year. You can find those details on our website. It's itv.com/Tyne-Tees.
Next tonight, football is often known as a beautiful game, but as we unfortunately know, there can be a very ugly side to the sport that rears its head from time to time.
Show Racism the Red Card is a charity founded in the North East to try and kick racist abuse out of the game, and the Terraces has been marking their 3rd decade this week.
Events on the pitch in the Champions League last night, though, show it is a fight that's still got some way to go. Madeleine Leatherby reports.
In the Champions League last night, Real Madrid star Vinicius Jr. was the subject of alleged racist abuse. It shows racism remains a blight on football. Speaking just hours before that incident, Darren Williams said questions around racism take him straight back to his playing days.
It takes you back to the games, where, you've heard racism from the stands, from the terraces, for all, opposing players as well as obviously your own teammates. And how that may have affected the individual at the time. And I think it's important that, we do try and stamp it out.
Started by former Newcastle goalie Shaka Hislop in '96. Over the years, Show Racism the Red Card has been backed by some of the biggest names in the business. And to mark their 30th anniversary, children across Wearside joined together at the Stadium of Light for workshops and talks with former players, championing equality and inclusion.
I've learned that racism doesn't only come from just in the real world, it can also come online. Racism can be shown in 4 different ways: culture, nationality, skin and religion.
Can be dangerous for some people, like it ruins their self-esteem.
We are the future generations and we need to get educated about it because we might even say it from what we have heard from our home.
The event was funded using money in response to rioting seen in the city just 2 years ago.
The work is still needed because a lot more people need educating on the topic of racism, anti-racism and just overall fairness. We've seen a lot of racism online take place just in recent weeks.
Since its inception, the organisation has worked with over 1.5 million children to spread their message.
I don't think it's ever been more important. I think that sadly racism is worse now than it was when we started the campaign. And I think football is a bit of an exception in that no Newcastle fan would want not to have Bruno and Joe Linton, to name but 2 of our foreign players, and they all celebrate them. There is a lot of hope in our country. And I think football shows the way.
Shining a light on the dark side of the beautiful game, Show Racism the Red Card vows to continue fighting to combat hate. Madeleine Leatherby, ITV News, Sunderland.
Yeah, marking 30 years of dedication, of hard work and campaigning still going on with our young people today. Show Racism the Red Card. It's still so important.
It's a campaign that our region should be hugely proud of. It really did lead the way. Jed Greggy and his team, we congratulate you on 30 years. Thanks for all of your endeavours in that field. Keep it going, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. The ITV Evening News continues after us tonight at 6:30 with Geraint Vincent.
Surrey's police force calls for witnesses to come forward after human trafficking claims emerge from the Epstein files. Comes as new emails show Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's team tried to get Epstein's help to counter the sexual assault allegations against him 4 years after he said he'd cut contact. The rate of inflation drops to 3%. Could an interest rate cut be next? And unseen doodles discovered in a letter provide a touching insight into the late Queen's childhood. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Now, last year, which wasn't that long ago, was it? Newcastle and the wider North East played host to 2 of the biggest nights in the British music business.
I can't believe it was a year ago. It was a year to the day, or perhaps more accurately to the night, since the city's arena held the MOBO Music of Black Origin Awards.
And that's where we can join our reporter Amy Sutton. Amy, last year obviously went very well.
So well, in fact, we're going to hit replay on that, Ian, because from the Mobos to the Mercuries and back again, one of the most prestigious awards in music is making a return to Tyneside. It's been announced today that the Mercury Prize will come back to Newcastle's Utility Arena on October 22nd. Now, you may remember Sam Fender, it was hometown glory for him when his album of the year, People Watching, took home the prize last year.
Last year, we saw Sam Fender win the Mercury Prize. We want to be incubating future years versions of Sam Fender. We want future winners of the Mercury Prize and every other prize to come from Newcastle. This is just the start.
Now, given we've got a few months until the big night, we do understand that talks are underway to plan a fringe festival, but no contracts are signed, so just keep your eyes peeled for that. But tonight, it marks a year since this arena rolled out the red carpet for the Music of Black Origin Awards, and that shone a light on the talent that we have right here in this region. So I've been taking a look at how the music scene has changed in Newcastle over the last 12 months.
This is what legacy looks like in Newcastle. The Music of Black Origin Awards was hosted in the city for the first time last year, and since then, artists, producers and promoters were keen to keep the party going. Rapper Kay Grayson was a firm fixture in the mobile fringe lineup and says the music scene in Newcastle is upping the tempo.
We're having a bit of a renaissance. We've had a lot of amazing events coming around in the city, but we've also got amazing acts that are from here, that are based here, performing here week to week. It's new, it's exciting, it's diverse, it's wonderful. I love it, but I'm biased. It was great to sort of have eyes on the city all the way through the year, you know, having the mobiles at the start of the year and the Mercury Prize towards the end. It was amazing to have that, you know, bookend in the year, because in the middle, I feel like everybody just went crazy, started performing, putting out music. It gave a real fuel to the fire, especially for the young artists.
Showcase events like this one have regularly filled bars and clubs across the city, sharing a mixture of genres.
We've hosted events here from Afrobeat to Latin and salsa to jazz to reggae. We've had spoken word. So last summer there was 16 or 17 of the artists who'd been on our stage earlier in the year, around the time of the Mobiles, on the biggest stages of all at Glastonbury or Reading and Leeds festivals. So, and I think we're really hopeful that the recognition of the talent will go beyond just the celebrations in the city.
And it's not a one-way ticket to the top. Success stories come in different forms.
This is where it started. I was literally singing on Northumberland Street for 3 years or something like that.
From busking to Buckingham Palace, Victor Ray from Newcastle went on to perform for royalty at the VE Day celebrations last summer. And closer to home, the more promising names in music are making a pit stop. Although we haven't seen any announcements from the Mobo's winners list, several nominees have announced tour dates in the tune. The awards brought an estimated economic impact of more than £1.3 million to the region, with more than 8,000 visitors coming into the city to take part in events. The Mobiles set a mentality here that anything is possible, and those projections are mirrored among the talent.
I think in the next 12 months, we're going to see some of the artists that we have here really step into the mainstream, you know, and start reaching the charts, start reaching heavy commercial success.
Well, Kay, Newcastle is on track to do just that.
And this is where the magic could be happening. This building is set to have recording and editing studios, a podcast space and a collaborative area for local and national talent. Now, Newcastle City Council approved the planning application back in November, and talks are ongoing with Warner Music to make this dream a reality.
And having the backing from a major label like Warner Music UK means the offering of internships for young talent from the North East. Generator, the North's leading music development agency, has announced the Black Music Incubator project. It's a paid 6-month placement at Warner Music UK, designed to create real career pathways into the industry.
I think it shows ambition, not only for this region, but for like the major label like Warner as well, because it shows that they care, and it's really, really important for them to show that there is talent outside of London. It's really important that Warner's come to London and they're doing this thing with us. But I think I like to see black music from the North East translating to other regions, other territories.
Collaborations keep on coming. There's funding for a masterclass with music agency Northern Baby, focused on mentorship and development for underrepresented artists and genres.
We're bringing songwriters, producers, artists into one space and just helping them to really grow. So that's recording a song, it's getting like press shots, it's going through marketing and recording a video. And essentially we just want to really empower the next generation of creatives.
An investment shows good returns. Rapper NEO from North Shields has gone from strength to strength since the Mobiles. He's performed at festivals like Kendall Calling and supported international acts.
I've been trying to focus a lot more recently, like the past year or so, on like
building a community of actual fans and not just like Spotify listeners. And like I would like to see everyone just doing that same thing, because like once everyone starts building a community, you start realising people start elevating a bit.
In the 12 months after the magic of the Mobos, the red carpet was rolled up, stage lights powered off, but the energy, that stayed in Newcastle.
Amy, there is so much happening and there is so much more still to look forward to. I mean, from what we've seen there, what an incredible time to be an artist or anyone working in the music industry for that matter in our region.
Exactly, Newcastle knows how to host a party. Just look at the bumper year for music we had in 2025. So I think we should just start as we mean to go on. And what a good day for good news. And as Kay said in my report, that just adds fuel to the fire for the motivations of the artists here in our region. So we'll find out in due course who the nominees are for the Mercury Prize. But hey, while we're on, Shy Ben's getting out. Let's bid for the Brits.
Is that your official pitch, Amy, to the Brits? I mean, if they're listening, people that organise the Brits, why not? It's coming to Manchester this year, so they could have a go and then we can show them how it's done. Brilliant, Amy, thank you very much indeed.
Right, some sport briefly. Some welcome relief for two of our region's struggling football teams last night. Harrogate Town won 1-0 at Barrow in League 2. The North Yorkshire team remain in the relegation zone, but things aren't looking up. And Gateshead ended a run of 13 consecutive defeats in the National League with a 2-1 victory at Halifax. More of the same is required, though. Gateshead remain bottom of the table. They are 10 points from safety still.
And while we are on air right now, Newcastle United are already underway in the first leg of their Champions League playoff against Karabag in Azerbaijan. It's going perfectly so far. The Magpies already lead 4-0 with Anthony Gordon scoring a hat-trick.
It's going very well, isn't it? It's a long 5,000-mile round trip for those Newcastle United fans. It's been an epic trip as well for another Newcastle supporter. Adrian Salem has been tracing the route of his brother's career. Michael Newbury died by suicide in December 2024. Adrian started his 160-mile journey last week and he's arrived at Windsor Park in Belfast, raising money for and awareness for mental health charities. His journey started at St James's. Well played.
Yeah, congratulations. Fantastic achievement. Let's take a look at the weather forecast now. Here's Ross with the latest.
Wet by the coast, with a high chance of sun and splashing. TUI sponsors ITV Tyne weather.
Although we did get some brighter breaks and sunny spells today, the clouds never been too far away. There's more cloud with us as we head overnight and now into tomorrow as well. It's looking mostly cloudy, some patchy rain trying to work its way up from the south. Into Friday, we start with another band of rain moving its way in from the west. That clears away through the morning, leaving us with blustery showers but brighter breaks as we end the weekend. So for now, as we head overnight, we've got the winds coming up from the south. This area of rain that was meant to steer clear of us pushes its way a little bit further north through tomorrow, so not quite as bright as we were hoping. With the cloud, though, it will start to thin and break at times, particularly further north. This is the picture first thing into Friday. Band of rain moving its way in from the west. It's breezy, blustery even as it pushes through, so it rattles through quite quickly. Behind that, a scattering of these showers, but also those brighter breaks, and actually into the weekend, those temperatures are set to climb too. So for now, through this evening and overnight, you can see the clouds starting to thicken, bits of rain trying to edge in towards parts of North Yorkshire. Generally dry as we head into the early hours, breezy at times, particularly along the east coast, gusts of 25-30 miles an hour, although temperatures at around 2 or 3 degrees will limit the frost and ice as we head into tomorrow morning. So tomorrow, the further north you go, better chance of seeing any brighter skies. The cloud, the rain trying to roll its way up from the south over higher ground. There is a bit of a wintry mix in that. As we make our way through the day, though, it is turning patchier. It'll be drier at times, temperatures at around 5 or 6 degrees, but in those winds feeling just that bit chillier. Later Thursday, that clears through. As we make our way overnight, some clearer skies for a time, so turning chilly. Into Friday, first thing, the rain starting to spread through. Behind that, a scattering of showers, temperatures picking up into the weekend.
TUI sponsors ITV Tyne weather.
Thank you, Ross. In just a moment, then, the national and the international news.
That's full time for us this evening. It's nearly half time for Newcastle. They're still winning 4-0. I'll see you at 10:30. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.